think they love me. I think they love me now. I think they love me.
Who do you see when you look at me?
I think they love me.
'Cause I do not recognize the man inside the mirror. They feast on my dreams. I'm not who I seem to be. And somehow I lost myself along the way. Losing my sanity over strangers. When they see your wounds, it gets dangerous. Can I be myself? Is it safe yet? Yeah. Or should I hide my lies and keep on running? Take my chances, all unknowing. I smile, but life is misery. I hide my pain in this melody. They see my scars and all run from me. I don't know what they want from me. Can I find peace? Yeah, will they finally see me? Can I love myself? Can I love myself? Can I love myself? Can I love myself? Can I love myself?
I think they love me. I think they love me.
Trapped inside this maze, it's amazing. My phone's off, so don't call me crazy. I'll show you what you want to see from me. But do you know me? I let the likes in the gram, it controls me. It's like the lights in the camera can know me. Yeah. One day I'll find my identity. For now, losing my sanity over strangers. When they see your wounds, it gets dangerous. Can I be myself? Is it safe yet? Yeah. Or should I hide my lies and keep on running? Take my chances, all unknowing. I smile, but life is misery. I hide my pain in this melody. They see my scars and all run from me. I don't know what they want from me. Can I find peace? Then watch me do it again. Tell 'em I can't take no loss. My team hold no L's, no. Aiming for the top, can't make it by myself. I ain't taking no loss. I ain't taking no loss. Look, I'ma always win. I ain't taking no loss. Look, I'ma always win. We already know that we the coldest.
Oh man, ladies and gentlemen, do we have a show for you today? And it's a special one because I am here. First of all, let me just say, everybody owes this man a little something because John, you are the friggin' man. I'm just gonna say it. You have and by the way, I think if Jira loves anybody anywhere near as much as she loves me, she loves John Brophy. Pictures like John, pictures win her heart. And she's like, this guy's pictures are amazing. I love when I get tagged by John Brophy. He's the man. So everybody give it up to John Brophy. Absolutely the man. Great job, John.
Thank you so much. What's going on, family? With the NYYU family, it's just so much fun doing this stuff and getting it to share it with you guys. And I'm sponsored. I'm credentialed with Con las Bases Llenas,
Yep.
which so I help produce or create so that they can produce content for the Spanish language Yankees podcast. So if you're not already watching that, which I think he's actually live right now, so yeah, I hope I don't take any followers or views away from him. But
how dare you, John?
but right now you might actually be seeing my content over there.
Yeah, no, John does amazing stuff. And again, he's nice enough to allow us to also share that here at the U and allow all of you guys, I mean, anybody that's a member here that's in the Discord server, you see what he does. So, I mean, photography is phenomenal. I never really understood it until I started making content myself. And your work's amazing, obviously. And yeah, man, it brings, I think it just brings something more. And having somebody that's at spring training and people like yourself, people like Los, who are giving fans all this knowledge about prospects, and then they get to kind of put a face to the name. We hear so much about these guys, we don't always get to see them. Tell us a little bit about some of the sights and sounds of spring training so far. You've been there a lot.
Yeah.
You know, what has it been? What is the team feeling like? What is picture day like? I want to know.
I mean, so the vibe that I get this year is, I don't want to say a lot different, but it's significantly different than last year. And I don't know if it's because of he who shall not be named is not with the team anymore.
Oh, I name him John. You know, that's my good friend.
Yeah, so I don't know if if it's because of that, because there is such a different vibe last year, a different, I don't want to say aura, so to speak, but
Yeah.
I mean, you had Soto, you had Stroman came in, you had Verdugo came in, so it's a
Hmm.
much different team. And then this year you have Goldie and Belly, and it's they're a lot more chill than a Verdugo and a Soto.
Yeah.
So I think the vibe overall is more chill. That we have an axe to grind. And Boone said, I think both Boone and Judge said the same thing in their one of their first pressers of the season of the spring, is we want revenge in a way. We want to get that
Yeah.
World Series. We have a chip on our shoulder, and you can feel that on the vibe with the team that they're pissed. Really, is
Yeah.
what it comes down to.
And I think a lot of people are actually excited to hear that, to be honest. We all like, look, the vibes last year were what they were. The Yankees did go to a World Series. So, nobody's ever going to take away from that. It wasn't the result that we wanted, but I did listen to Boone. I did listen to Judge talk, and you're right. They talked about kind of having that chip on their shoulder. Aaron Boone specifically was asked many, many times already this offseason about, the Dodgers talking all the crap they did and all that. And Boone kind of, said, there's a lot of things I'd want to say, but he was right when he said one thing, when he's like, well, look at the people that are saying it. I mean, to be fair, some of these guys didn't even play. They didn't have an impact on what actually happened in the World Series. And Boone did admit the Yankees did not play their best baseball, which is fair. He also admitted that the Nestor Cortez move probably wasn't the ideal move. And that's something he will have to live with for a very, very long time. And hopefully he gets a chance to redeem that and win a World Series with the Yankees. And then his tenure with this extension is, is there for good, and it would be known as a successful tenure once you win. But I'm happy that they have that mindset, because there was a lot of things the Yankees did wrong last year. And it looks like the moves they made so far, they're going to be a better base running team. They're going to be a better defensive team. Do you feel the same way about that?
Yeah, I haven't seen Matt Tallarico around, who is the
Yeah.
kind of like the lead base running coach. I
Yeah.
haven't really seen him around. It's more Travis Chapman running the base running drills and that kind of thing. Um, Kind of a surprise to me. So I'm thinking maybe they're trying to take a different approach to base running, just because Tallarico has, I mean, he's been known within the organization as the top guy, and he's one of the reasons that they were so good at base running in the minors.
Yeah, that's definitely something I know Brian Cashman made sure to let everybody know when there was all the talks about the bad base running and all this other stuff. He kind of let everybody know, well, we are one of the best in the minor leagues.
Yep.
But of course, everybody really cared about what happened in the postseason and how it affected the team. What are your, so we talked about that already. The other big news. The other big news, of course, is the facial hair policy. So John
Yeah.
is pre-facial hair policy. I am the new facial hair policy. That is what we planned it this way, by the way. John had a
Yeah.
huge beard before this. He shaved it off right before we went live, just so we could get that bit in. I promise you that's what happened. But
I'm more in the Cashman camp. I don't know if I can grow a beard.
yeah, I like that Cashman said that. I don't know if I could do it. I'll try maybe, but
Yeah.
you know, Judge had some interesting comments, but we don't have to start there, because I made a prediction the other day on All Rise. I said I got a feeling that a few of the names that were out that kind of had this discussion with Hal Steinbrenner, the first name that came out was Devin Williams. And we find out today that Devin Williams himself asked for a meeting with Hal Steinbrenner because it was something that was on his mind and was bothering him. And I guess from there, the Yankees have had these talks for years of thinking about doing this. And then Hal Steinbrenner just basically said, I take it upon myself to let's change this rule going forward. It could have affected free agents. And to Devin Williams' credit, he said, it would have definitely been on the table for me. It would have been something I seriously would have considered. Aaron Judge, on the other hand, was like, it's not my favorite thing that the rules changed. I told them that no other rule should be changing at all. And he was like, hey, look, if you don't want to do something that little to be here, then you shouldn't be here. That's simple. So a kind of a bit of a stark a difference there. What's the feel in camp, and what have you heard from people?
Um, well, I just kind of want to give my first impression, and it was because I sat in the presser. I got some photos and some video of
Yep.
it, and you can kind of tell that the vibe in the the press conference in the room was kind of shock. I mean, when the news was buzzing around, it was like, holy shit, what the hell just happened? Like, is
Yeah.
this really a thing?
I woke up to it. So I was very shocked.
But I was just really surprised with the openness of how, like that entire press conference, he was saying about how his dad was a military guy and you had to be clean shaven and all that, and he had a lot of trouble dealing with the guys in the 70s and that kind of thing with the hair and all that. So, I respect the openness that he had, and I think the reporters did as well. Um, and then Brian Cashman, I mean, he doesn't really have much to say on it because it's not his team
Yep.
per se, but it was really kind of moving in a way of the way that Hal was approaching the idea of allowing that rule to change because kind of like what Aaron Judge was saying, that's what made the Yankees the Yankees is, if you got traded to the Yankees or you were even drafted as a kid out of college, you had to pick up a razor and you had to shave.
Right.
So, one of the things that I was thinking of was this year we get to see prospects for the first time that aren't clean shaven.
That's right.
Like
That's
you were
right.
talking about Jason Dominguez, and we see Jason Dominguez in the offseason and he doesn't shave. So we're going to get to see that. And I mean, maybe in a couple days, because I don't know how long he takes to grow a beard, but
Quick. Quick.
yeah,
Yeah. It's funny because I was working on some graphics today and Kev was like, but you got to update Devin Williams. I'm like, well, give me a couple of days. He has to grow the beard
yeah,
back. Like
yeah,
I don't have anything right now. We got to wait a little bit. But no, I think you're right. And interesting enough, Aaron Judge is like, I'm not growing a beard. I'm not doing it. And I made a prediction also with Francis. I said, I don't think a lot of the guys are going to do it. I think some guys will, some guys won't. Now, here's the big difference. I think as years pass, and like you said, prospects come up in the system. And for them, I think in the minor leagues, they're going to be probably a lot less of, hey, that needs to be cut down a little bit. I think
yeah,
down there, they're kind of just going to let it go, do your thing. And when you get to the majors, got to be, not clean shaven, but it's got to be well groomed, as they said. And I do believe as it gets further down the line, there won't really be that pull to what the Yankees were before that you got to New York, you took it off. Because I think now, like Boone was talking about this during the game. And he was like, it's obviously a shock to a lot of people. And he's like, I don't know how many people are even going to do it. But we'll see. I don't know how many are going to grow a beard. Carlos Rodon has come out as like, I'm growing it. So he seems,
yeah. I
if
can see
anybody's
that.
going to do it, Los is the guy that's going to be like, yeah, I'm going to get this thing
I can see
going.
that.
I don't know if we're going to get bearded Garrett Cole, who was an absolute mammoth on the mound with Houston. Some people talking about maybe it affects play. So oddly enough, you've met Nick Swisher a couple of times.
Yep,
I'm sure of it. And
yep.
Nick Swisher said he believes it has affected play from
I
certain
believe that too.
players.
Yeah, I
So,
believe
and you
that.
believe that too. And I spoke to Eric Kratz before, and Eric Kratz said it was a common thing in the clubhouse that nobody liked it. So, you do believe that it definitely affected play for some players?
Well, it's kind of a mind thing because it's something else that you have to. I mean, you have to keep a beard maintained, of course, but it's something that as soon as you start to show the stubble, you have to shave it, right? You have to
Yeah,
be clean shaven, kind of like how I am.
yeah,
And it's kind of a mind thing because if you're a Devin Williams and you don't like that and you prefer to grow a beard, that might mess in your head a little bit. That's kind of been the logic that I've had for a while. But you know, like I said before, if you're a Yankee, you had to have a razor in your hand as soon as that was I forget who did it a couple years ago. They got traded and they put it on social media where it was like a before and after in their bathroom where they were showing before and after shaving.
it might have been McCutcheon.
I think it was. It was something like
I
that.
think it was Andrew. A couple of guys have done that because remember
Yeah.
Damon did it. Damon did it when he came here, took everything off. But yeah, I really don't disagree with that. I know how some people could say, yeah, but isn't that just a mental thing? Well, baseball's hard enough. So a mental thing could really affect you in baseball. There's no denying that. And for me, if you could take away something like that, and I guess the main thing to talk about here is tradition, right? Everybody sees it as, well, it's tradition. So,
Yep.
this is the Yankees going against it. I've had so many comments already from people. And to be fair, they're typically an older generation, which is fair game. You guys lived through the Yankees having this policy longer than everybody. So I get
Yep.
there being an attachment there. A lot of people just feel like they say, well, this is going to get out of hand and it's going to get crazy. No, it's not. I don't believe that. Hal Steinbrenner doesn't want to do this. In my opinion, it felt like the players pushed him to do it. And he was like, you know what? I'm not the one playing. I'm not the one dealing with it. I can't even grow a beard. No problem. Let's go and do it. And he specifically mentioned a lot of things. Members of Congress, the vice president, people at very high levels have beards. It's not like it's frowned upon in any type of way. And a lot of people are also saying, yeah, but what does the well-groomed mean? What does that mean? I think it's very simple. Yeah. I think people are getting way ahead of themselves here. I think it's like what I have, what Francis has. Just if you're going to grow a beard, don't let it get crazy. Don't grow nothing too far down. Hair isn't going to be extremely long. I think it's pretty basic stuff here. And people are still very concerned about what a Yankee player is going to look like, which is kind of crazy to me.
Well, and like you mentioned on All Rise yesterday, I think Jordan's going to be a very busy guy.
Yeah, he is.
And especially the barber that they all use in Tampa is going to be, I think, just as busy. I don't know if you have to ask Jordan, because they were talking about when they did the clubhouse tour with the media that they bring a couple barbers down from New York. I wonder if Jordan is one of those barbers that comes down. I wouldn't think he is because of the business that he has, but
for certain people he is. Yeah,
he'll come down.
Yeah, for certain people he is. Yeah, he's already been there. So I know that for a fact. So for certain people, yes, indeed he does. But yeah, I told him the other day he's going to be extremely busy going forward. But it's good because now you got the beard, so it's not a quick trip anymore. Yeah. We got a super chat here from Rod Thompson. He goes, shout out to Brophy and your outstanding coverage of the Yankees organization. My question is, how do you think Jones' recent swing/leg kick adjustments will impact him this year? Jones did go opposite field today for the Yanks. And yeah, definitely a question I was going to have for you about Spencer. What do you think?
Yeah, the stance in the box was a little odd. I will say that, because it's not, I think he had an open stance, if I remember correctly, last year or something along those lines. I mean, the mechanics looked good. I don't have, I've seen the stuff on Instagram that he's posted, and mechanics are there. He's gone. He didn't go oppo when I saw him in Tampa. He went to right field, but I mean, that kind of shows you the power he has. And when I talked to him yesterday, I was kind of looking at him and, getting the photos and stuff. His physique doesn't look any different. So the power that's been there is still there.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, after I see him in a couple more at bats, maybe I can get back to you, Rob, but we'll see. We got to see him in more at bats. I don't want to judge off of one at bat,
Yeah. The one thing that I've noticed, based off some, video late in the season last year and all that, the stance sometimes looks a little awkward. It almost looks like sometimes he gets off balance. So I think for him, it's just a mechanical thing. It's getting something that he's comfortable with. And now he's kind of implemented not a real leg kick. It's almost like just a little bit of a lift and a drop, like a slight lift and a drop. Almost what Judge does when he just kind of leaves it in the air for a second, and it's a timing mechanism for him. And you're right. One thing about Spencer Jones is, guys, this guy could just tap a baseball and it just goes. I mean, even today, he did like a one-handed swing and the ball just kept traveling. He has that type of power. To me, it just comes down to the strikeout rate. If he's able to get that strikeout rate to dip a bit, he's going to be a legitimate player.
Well, and that's kind of broadly, that was something we were talking about yesterday is, in spring training, what's it like to be in spring training, to be around guys like Judge and Bellinger and, all that. And he was saying that he's trying to learn from them what he can, so it's possible learning the different mechanics that Judge has because of his height, that may be helping him as well.
Yeah. Jason Dominguez, I got to ask you about the Martian. Everybody's player to keep an eye on at the major league level. Forget the prospect hype. This is a major league ball player. He gets number, 24? Yeah. He's number 24 now, no longer to 89. Basically, to me, when I originally saw that, I'm like, oh, he's a starter. Yeah, I don't think they're going to throw him out number 24 and give him such a low number and he doesn't make the club.
Yeah.
There's he starts, the first game of the year. He starts in left field, and he's batting leadoff. Now, again, This is the first game of spring training, so I don't want to be that guy that's hyping this up. Oh my God, are they really going to lead him off? But I just think it is a phenomenal spot in the lineup for Jason Dominguez and the type of player that we know he could be. What a dynamic top of the order the Yankees can have if Dominguez puts it together this year.
Yeah, and especially with the speed that he has. And my biggest concern with him is that something that I learned in Tampa is if he's too bulky in his lower half, so like his leg muscles and his calf muscles are too big, his speed really slows down. So he has to watch the bulk on that. But I mean, you bring up a good point. I mean, if he's batting leadoff, right? He gets on base. He can steal with Judge or whoever they Volpe, whatever they bat second. But imagine having Dominguez first and Volpe second in the lineup.
Mm-hmm.
Having the two of them on the bases, double steal. That's easily. I mean, you get runners in scoring position, and then tap of a bat, and you get 2 runs in.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what that final batting order is. I'm not a fan anymore of Aaron Judge batting second. I want Judge to bat third. Last
Yeah.
year, I love what we saw, and look, I know there's some analytic things out there that believe that the batter who bats second gets the most RBI opportunities and all that. So, you try to maybe think a little bit too much. I'm very old school in lineup construction. I like my best hitter to hit third. I like guys that could get on base ahead of them. I love the idea, in my opinion, of Dominguez, Bellinger, Judge. I just think it fits well to kind of what last year was. I'm not saying that Cody Bellinger is Juan Soto. I'm not saying that at all. I just think Cody has a chance to have a really good season with this team. If there is the Aaron Judge protection, I think he's a player to look out for all year. How's he adapted to camp with the Yankees?
You mean Bellinger?
Who did I say?
You're mentioning Judge and Bellinger.
Oh yeah, Bellinger.
Yeah. So I think both Bellinger and Goldschmidt have adjusted pretty well. Just kind of looking at the two of them and how they work with, they don't look awkward. It's not like the first day of school and, you got to get your awkwardness out the first couple days. But
Right.
just kind of looking at them recently in camp, they're running around and interacting. It's not like I was saying before. It's not the same kind of vibe as what Soto and Verdugo had because they're not Soto and Verdugo. I mean, it's
Correct.
just as simple as that. But yeah, I mean, Belly went 1 for 2 yesterday.
Yep.
He went. I think he got to third base and he scored or something like that, if I remember correctly.
They
wanna say I have
scored
video
again
of
on the Goldschmidt double
Yeah,
off the left center field wall. Then it was an error on the throw, and he scored from that.
yeah. So, I mean, I'm excited to see what they do. I think they can bring significant offense to the lineup.
Yeah.
It's still early though. I mean, I can give you my impressions until I'm blue in the face, but
Right. Of
I don't
course.
want to be that guy that's like, wow, they're gonna hit 500 all year.
Yeah. No.
I'm not
And
like that.
look, I've always been a type too to say, tamper expectations. Kind of let yourself be surprised. I'm always that way. I know a lot of people. You get questions about Jason Dominguez, and oh my God, right away he's a rookie of the year, and I'm like, he's a candidate.
Yeah.
But temper expectations because let him kind of be who he is, and you'll go from there. But the interesting thing about the Yankees outfield, do you have a preference in the Yankees outfield? Do you have a preference of where they play? Do you think Dominguez is okay in left field? Would you prefer him in center field?
I have kind of two takes of it. I like
Okay.
left field because it's smaller,
Okay.
right? But Dominguez, if he were to, like I was saying before about his size, if he were to keep his size a little bit lower, he'll be faster to handle the outfield in center. My concern with him is that his routes are still a little clunky, and we saw that yesterday.
Yeah.
So, and it's always been a thing for him as far as I'm concerned. His routes have always been not like Aaron Judge. They're not smooth.
Correct.
So that's probably my biggest concern. And kind of this might be a hot take, but that might keep him from Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, you never know because
never
again,
know.
if God forbid if God forbid he did have those struggles again, we talked about things being mental. If a lot of mental things really go with the rest of your game, so
Yeah.
hopefully it's nothing. The one thing about Jason Dominguez is you're right. I've mentioned this many times. His reads and routes on balls have never been top notch. A lot of the conversation has always been if he takes a bad route, sometimes his speed has been able to make up for that. But the one thing I always say, but he's never been known as a horrible outfielder. Like that was
No,
never like something that carried with him in the minor leagues. You never heard that. Yeah, Dominguez is a great man, but I don't know where they're gonna play him because I don't think he's an outfielder, or he just I don't see him making up to be good enough in that position. It was never anything like that with Jason. So I think for him is just as Boone did say, a repetition.
yeah, that's really what it comes down to. But yeah, I don't have a preference left field, center field, and from what it sounds like between him and Bellinger, I don't think either one of them care where either one plays.
Yeah, I mean, the cool thing about Cody is even when there was the initial trade, he told Boone, I'll play wherever you want me to. You know, I can play first base, I can play left, center, it doesn't matter. So, you know, Cody seems like one of those guys that he's a veteran at this point in his career and he wants to come here and win. So that's a
Yeah.
good thing. Frank Cortez, or Frank Quotez, as we call him. He guys, let's all go to the first Yankee game with a grown beard. Okay, John Brophy can't.
Nope.
So
I've done no shave November and then I give up.
he'll have to put a fake one on and we'll go from there. But is there? I know
Yeah.
it's really really early for spring, and we're gonna have you back on obviously to as spring training progresses and all that. Are you? Is there anything any standouts? I know it's so early, but is there any standouts that you could tell the fans to keep your eye on this guy?
I really now, I'm a prospect guy,
Of course.
true, true to the heart kind of thing. But I like seeing Jeff Gilbert yesterday. Through one inning, I'm looking at the stats here. One
Yep.
inning, two strikeouts. There's a couple guys that I like. I've liked Leo Pastana. I think he's
Okay.
on the NRI list. Um, Jesus Rodriguez. I mean,
Of
he's
course.
he's. I was telling some of the reporters about his utility, and they're like, "What do you mean a catcher plays outfield? What do you mean he plays third base?" And I'm like, "He plays everybody. He plays everywhere except for second base and pitcher, basically.
Yeah.
He's in Oswaldo Cabrera, but a catcher." And they're like, "What? Yeah, that's."
Yep.
So I'm excited to see those guys get some playing time. Lombard, I mean, he's kind of top of the prospect list, but that throw that
Yeah.
he made just really cemented where I keep saying, and you can if you're in the Discord, I keep saying this. He has an arm for a third base, and I think he's going to be a future third baseman if he doesn't get traded.
Oh, he showed it. There was,
Yeah,
I mean, look, I don't want to jump the gun on many things, but the way he made that throw, if you watch Manny Machado highlights, it looks very similar to it. Now Manny has an absolute cannon. I mean, there's not many people out there that have an arm like Manny Machado does and makes the plays at third, so I'm not saying that. But look at the demeanor of like his body and the way he moved to make that play. It's like he knew the position very well already.
yep,
And he does the one thing you hear a lot about George Lombard. By the way, the Yankees are making it very clear that they love this kid. Like I'm talking about, they love him. You don't see many prospects getting posted on social media that are, still an A ball. You don't really see that posted to the Yankees page. And it's as clear as day. They have high, high, high hopes for George Lombard. And the one thing you hear about him is just his mental makeup. It's not
yeah,
necessarily what he's doing right now, what his stats showed, even though towards the end of the year he did start to put up really good numbers. But a lot of the stuff you hear is the mental makeup on George Lombard. And that's why everybody is so high on him.
yeah. I agree with that 100%. Especially after I saw him in Tampa for most of last year. I think it was except for the last week or two when he got called up to High A. My biggest concern with him is his glove, and we saw that today. Was it? No,
Yeah.
that was
It was
Velasquez.
today too. No, he had a throwing error today.
Um, and that's my biggest concern with him and Arias, and I don't know where they end up putting Arias. I don't think he's going to be a long-term second baseman if they're going to have Jazz there, and I don't
Yeah.
think with Volpe. So he's in a conundrum, and I think one of the two ends up getting traded at some point. But the biggest concern that I have with George is kind of the power because he didn't really show that until late in the
Hmm.
season.
Hmm.
He has some pop. I'm not worried about that. But it's the glove is really the biggest concern.
Yeah. And
But
they're
the
both great. They're both really, really good
yeah,
prospects. I mean, and it's funny because me and Los were talking about this the other day. There's always like two prospects that are always compared with each other all
Yeah.
the time, and those definitely are the two guys, Arias and George Lombard. And it is going to be interesting. You're right. Of not necessarily who comes out on top in that, like who's going to be on the Yankees. I think if I had to make a guess today, I'm a huge Arias fan. I love the player.
Hmm.
I think he's only going to keep getting better. The Yankees are, I think, making it pretty well known that they really want George Lombard on this team. You saw
Yeah.
the pictures with Aaron Judge. He's been in a lot of the social media posts. A lot of them, you see George Lombard in there. It's almost like they're grooming him to be here. It's like, you're going to be a Yankee. Prepare yourself. Just keep getting better, and you're going to be there. There was, I don't know, you were at the first game, so you got to see him live, and I don't know how. I keep telling everybody about this guy, but I can't remember his name right now. He's the lefty they got from Minnesota. That pitch, I think he struck out 3 guys.
Hedrick.
Hedrick.
Yeah.
Has anybody, you watching that game, did anybody like say anything out loud? Like, who the hell is this guy? Like, I mean,
There's- well, there's-
95, he
there's
looked
always a bunch of
really
that
good.
There's always a bunch of who the hell is this guy when the prospects come
yeah,
up, and
that's true.
like Jeff Gilbert, I'm like, oh my god, it's Jeff.
Uh-huh.
It's just me yelling from like, yeah, go Jeff. I mean, I can't be biased when I'm in the camera well, but it's when it's one of the Tarpons guys that I covered for so many weeks and months or whatever. I always root for them, and then you're just
Yeah.
like, oh, it's Efros pitching. Oh, it's another prospect.
Yeah.
Oh, it's this guy. Oh, it's Kevin
Right.
Stevens. So like Gilbert came in and Stevens came in, like, who the hell is this guy? But Hedrick was like, nobody even talked about like who the hell is this guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he kind of kicked ass. I mean, 3 strikeouts,
man.
only gave up 1 hit, 1 walk.
I tweeted about him when they made the move and they got him. And I looked into him a little bit. I'm like, that's interesting because he was a starter in the Twins organization. And when they moved him to the bullpen, they said there was an uptick in velo. So I was paying attention to that yesterday. Seeing him hit 95 and having decent off speed for a lefty reliever coming out of the pen, he's a guy that you're really, really going to want to look at. And Yankees love tall pitchers. He's a tall pitcher.
That's their MO, yeah.
That's their MO, the tall opposing pitcher, and he fits the bill. I think he's 6'5". He
6'6",
fits the bill,
235.
6'6", 235.
Yeah.
There it is. That is what the Yankees like. And from what you saw, look, it's the first game of spring training. So if the command is off a little bit, I don't think anybody's looking at that like, oh God, this guy can't throw strikes.
Like Rodon today.
Exactly, Carlos
Yeah.
today. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's overly concerned about that. But he's a name that for the Yankees bullpen, a team that doesn't have a ton of lefties, he's a guy that you're really going to want to keep an eye on.
Yeah, I was just looking at his stats, and a 2 ERA in AAA last year, AAA St. Paul, 18 innings pitched, 23 strikeouts, and 18 innings. I mean, that's not bad. That's better than
Not at all.
So yeah, he might be up before too long because he pitched a little bit with the Twins last year.
Yeah, and like I said, he's one of those guys that if maybe somebody else isn't available or isn't ready, I could even see him immediately breaking camp with the club with the type of stuff that he has. So if there's a pitcher out there to keep an eye on, that's one of those guys. What else you got from spring? Anything that nobody has really talked about yet? Anything that's caught your eye?
Carlos Carrasco. That's
Cookie.
That's kind of been my thing. It's like, why am I the only guy photographing him? I'm the only one getting
Yeah, that's
photos. I'm the only
strange.
one getting video. Like,
There's been no press either, really, besides when he
No.
signed, and that's it.
no, I mean, like, he signed and that's it, and no one is talking to him. No one's interviewing him. I don't understand it. Is it like he was with Cleveland for a while, and because he's an AL rival, he's given the Yankees a hard time for so long, they don't want to talk to him? That seems silly, but
Yeah,
never know.
I don't know what it is because look, me and Francis talked about Carlos Carrasco recently, and we said, with there being concerns about Clark, and Clark apparently threw a bullpen, so apparently he's doing a little better. Maybe there's not as much concern there as we thought it could be. But Cookie's a guy that, as it stands right now, your number 6 starter is Marcus Stroman. I still think there's a strong possibility Marcus gets dealt at some point. As spring progresses, I think there's a chance you'll see Marcus Stroman get moved. And by the way, he's handled this phenomenally. I
Like
think he's handled
100%.
this
Yeah.
really, really good. I don't think he's getting enough credit for handling it the way he has. And also, too, a shout out to Devin Williams, who didn't go to the media about the beard stuff. He went directly to Hal Steinbrenner and went to who he needed to speak to. So, they're handling these things very, very well. But a guy like Cookie Carrasco could be a guy that makes spot starts for the Yankees. Yeah, I know a lot of people are gonna look at his numbers last year and go, "Come on now, like this is a veteran starting pitcher. This is a guy that with a new start, maybe with the Yankees, could put a little something together. I don't think anybody's expecting 30 starts, from him at this point in his career. But when the deal was signed, some people, oh yeah, but what about a third base? I'm sitting there going, this is not a horrible signing. Like I don't know
No.
why anybody's so
Yeah.
upset. They barely paid anything for him. And why not add a veteran for depth if you can? And he can opt out at some point, I'm sure, but why not? I like it.
Yeah, and I mean, just the vibe that I've gotten from him is he seems to be having a blast.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, why wouldn't you want to play for the Yankees? The pinstripes have so much. Um, I don't. There's I'm out of lack for words here, but it's kind of like aura. I hate to use the word
Yeah, yeah,
aura,
yeah.
but
Everybody, because
it's
everybody's using it.
yeah, everybody's using it. But it's kind of that thing, like looking at how he was glowing in pinstripes and on photo day and the way
Yeah,
that he's been in the outfield throw-in, and everybody's taking photos of Devin Williams and Max Fried, and I get that.
of course.
They're the ones that are going to get the clicks.
Yeah.
But kind of watching him and interacting with him, and I mean, he shared some of my photos, which I thought was kind of incredible.
Yep.
Because I'm the only one taking photos.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
And people, his story is amazing.
Yeah.
That's one. So a lot of people are attracted because of that. And it was nice to see a lot of the comments under your post of friends and everybody like that, reaching out and saying nice words about Carlos Carrasco. So if there's anybody to root for, no doubt about it, it would be awesome to see Cookie make his mark with the Yankees this year
Yeah.
somehow. However that might be, I think that would be pretty damn awesome to see. I got to ask you about one player. Probably the biggest character on the team. You were
Oh, I
there
know.
when
I
Weave's
know.
World was going on. How big of a character is this guy? Because Weaver is definitely something else.
You could say that, yes. Yeah, he's definitely something else. What you saw in that Weaves World video that the Yankees posted, the 6 minutes that it was, is exactly how he is. Like he's just walking through the tunnel, he's just having a good time. 'Cause when I was the only one there, whatever, doing the pictures, that's just the way he is. I mean, he's kind of like Nick Swisher. What you see is what you get.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's so much fun to be around, and he the whole clubhouse just really lights up. When he's
You got to have those guys. I
yeah.
mean, you got to have those guys and look, it's it's funny because when the Boone extension stuff was happening, a lot of the things I said is like, you always go, yeah, but he's already options picked up. He's here for good. I wonder who the Yankees are thinking about extending besides the manager. Like you would think sometimes, maybe the players have a little bit of a priority there. Weaver's a name that came up. He has just this year, and then he's going to be a free agent. So it's something I'm sure the Yankees probably want to get ahead of because if he has the same type of year, teams are going to be calling for him to be a closer because he's that
Yep.
good. And now you're seeing his personality more, his clubhouse presence. That's big. That adds to that value. And then even a guy like Jazz. I love Jazz.
Oh my
I mean,
God, I love Jazz.
this player. You're talking about somebody who's quickly become one of my favorite players on this team. It is Jazz. I am rooting for him. I've said it many, many times. I've mentioned it to him before, 30-30. Like, that's a
Yeah.
big expectation. But I'm like, if anybody can do it, and this people got to remember, too, about Jazz. He's only entering his prime. So
Oh, yeah.
Jazz is 27, and he is perfect for the New York Yankees. He's perfect for New York. So I am extremely happy to have him on this club. And by the way, the first game, he kind of showed off why you want him at second base. There's a lot of range there. There's a very, very strong arm. He's a really good defensive player. And
Mhm.
his chemistry also is very, very important to this team.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. And he's just kind of like you were talking about Weaver. He's another one of those what you see is what you get. I've interacted with a couple of times. There's a couple photos that I had from him from photo day that he sent me a DM. Hey, can you send me photos? Like that was pretty cool, obviously. But
Yep.
I've interacted with him a couple times on the field, and he's he's an incredible person to be around. So, and both of those two guys are really important to have in the clubhouse when you
Oh
get
yeah.
into those slumps because they'll help pick the team up a little bit. Like Judge can do so much because he's the captain, of course, but having those positive attitudes in the clubhouse are really important mentally.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. It's huge to the overall club. Um, Top prospects out there. Actually, no. Let's not even. We already talked about Spencer Jones, but I want to ask you about third base. Third base,
Oh man,
Oswald Peraza, man. Oswald Peraza gets
we need
the
it.
start at third base.
Yeah, we need it. I think that's going to be a thing.
I hope so, man.
Yeah. I
Look.
mean, I'm rooting for him, if
Me
nothing
too.
else.
I am openly rooting for him, so I have no problem with anybody saying, "Hey, you know, what about everybody?" I don't care. I don't care about anybody else right now. Look, I love Oswaldo Cabrera. I think he's also a great clubhouse guy. I
Hmm.
think the team all loves him. He's just known as a very very good guy overall. I think he's a great player to have on the bench. I think his super utility option is huge. He
Yeah.
can really play just about anywhere. Look, we saw one video of DJ LeMahieu, and again, I've even warned everybody: don't necessarily take those swings that he took up there as that's who he is right now. You don't know.
I don't know.
It could be. I mean, that's what I'm saying.
Uh,
I'm just saying, grain of salt. If you don't like what you saw, fair game. I go more of what I saw last year overall in real games. It didn't look good. So
I have some
I
two
am
cents.
not. I'm not pushing him at all. I mean, to me, it's Peraza all day.
Yeah, and DJ, like, just the vibe is like, Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah. That's
That's
what he's like.
kind of the vibe that I'm getting from him. I mean, like, I hate to use that comparison
I
because,
mean, I
like,
think he has to know, right? I mean,
that's
that's the
that's
tough
what I
thing.
mean. Because, like, he
Yeah,
knows that. I mean, he's got to be hearing what social media is saying, what
of
all the fans are
course.
saying. I
Of
mean, I'm
course.
sure he's getting yelled at, from the fans. But it's just the stuff like behind closed doors, so to speak, like when it's not the stuff that's not open to the public, like
Hmm.
before the fans come in to see practice. He's just like that guy that doesn't want to go to work, but he has to work to pay the bills and feed the kids.
Yeah,
It's like, I mean, obviously he's not hurting for money, obviously,
of
right?
course.
But
Of course.
it's just that's the kind of vibe that I get from him. I want him to do well because he's
It
my
makes the team
age.
better. And it makes the team better, too. We
Yeah,
don't want anybody we want everybody to
of
succeed on the
course.
Yankees.
But it's and then that's kind of where a lot of the fans, and I totally get it. A lot of the fans complain that the team is too old. You got to play more kids. So I totally get it because typically the kids are faster and more agile and all that kind of thing. Which is why I want to root for Presley. I don't think he's been given the opportunities that he's deserved.
I agree.
But at the same time, it's difficult because you have DJ. You know what the potential is there, or at least was there.
Right.
That may be behind him. I don't know, but I just
Funny, funny story. I don't know if you know about my DJ LeMahieu story in spring training. So the very first time I ever went to Yankee spring training complex, I don't know. So the practice field, the field right next to George Steinbrenner Field, where a lot of times they come out early and do
yep,
stuff.
yep,
If you're coming up, there's the bathroom there.
yep,
So you go around it and then you kind of hit the gate immediately. You don't,
yeah.
first time I ever was there, I didn't know there was bleachers next to it and fans would be sitting there watching. John, I walk up there and I yell as loud as I can. He's batting. He's right. And you know how close they are. They're
Oh
right
yeah,
next to you.
yep.
I didn't know there was going to be fans there because if he turned around, I'd be like, whatever, I'm joking. I yell, DJ LeGround out.
Oh God.
And every single fan turns around and just looks at me. And I'm like, oh, shit. I was like, I had no idea all these people were here. I had no clue whatsoever. He obviously heard me, but look, it's probably definitely, I'm
Yeah.
more than certain he's heard a lot worse than that. But I'm with you, man. Peraza's my guy. He's out of options. You never know what Brian Cashman is going to do. You don't know if there's going to be a player that has a great spring that is maybe released and the Yankees bring him on board to be the third baseman. But Oswald Peraza, it's now or never in
Yeah.
reality because if he doesn't make this club, he's going to be picked up by somebody else and likely given a chance somewhere. And he did an interview in New Jersey in NewJersey.com. He said, at this point, he would even be on the bench. He just wants to be a Yankee.
Yeah.
And he did mention, to be fair, he hasn't really gotten a chance, like an extended
Yeah.
chance at the major level.
100%.
And that is a fair criticism of the team. from him. That is very, very much fair game because everybody knows. And let's remember here too. This was a top 100 prospect in baseball.
Hmm.
This wasn't a guy that was just maybe ranked 12th on the Yankees and not a no top 100 prospect list. He was always a top 5 prospect, and on top of that, he was a top 100 prospect in Major League Baseball. This is a good player that just has not been given a long enough shot. And I hope they at least start with him and say, hey, the position's yours, go play ball and see what he has because I think he could shock a lot of people. This is a good player.
Yeah, I agree with that. And part of me thinks that he and Stroman get dealt to another team
I could see that. I could see that.
because that might be. I mean, it's very possible that that might be why they're playing him a little bit more to kind of push him out there in front of the scouts, the pro
Yep.
scouts.
Yeah. No,
Um,
that's a great take. It's very possible.
but at the same time, if we see him and we don't see a lot of DJ LeMahieu, that'll kind of be the story where, all right, that means they're not going to go with LeMahieu for third base, and
Yeah.
they're gonna put Peraza as the starting third baseman.
Yeah, and I know DJ's owed, 2 more years, $15 million a year. Um, a lot of people just feel like at the end of the day, money's gonna be the loudest thing in the room, and he's gonna get the opportunity because they're paying him. I always have a rebuttal on that. It's the Yankees. It's not the Kansas City Royals. It's not a club that makes a commitment like that. And it's like, well, we have to stick with this because we really are kind of handicapped here in that regard of going out and adding more. For the Yankees, they can't make
No,
that excuse in my opinion. And there was rumors they were looking to release him, so he might even know that, and then
and
that's why the reason is of the way he kind of feels about it is, I mean, I'm probably done here anyway, so what's the next step for me?
well, and Hal was kind of alluding to the financial aspect of that yesterday when they were asking
Yep,
about what do the finances look like. They were asking about salary cap, that kind of thing, and he was saying that finances aren't a problem. We're actually under where we want it to be. So if that's the case, then letting DJ go, kind of like what they did with Aaron Hicks, and just kind of
exactly.
eating the rest of that contract, it'll be in their best interest, you
Agreed.
know, offensively speaking, if nothing else.
Agreed. Let's play a game.
Boy,
Chat, you ready? We're gonna play a game. Who will grow a beard? Who will not? Going over the roster, we're gonna find out right now. I'm gonna get to the main players, the rotation, and all that. Do you think first name? This is a big one. Chat, play along with us here. Do you think Garrett Cole grows a beard?
no.
I am gonna say, man, Garrett, he really pulls the beard off so well.
So this is
I'm
my
gonna
logic.
I'm gonna say no too. I'm with you.
This is my logic, is he's always wanted to be a Yankee. That whole, the kid holding the sign thing.
Yep,
I think he appreciates the history of the no beard policy.
that's how I feel.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about him. I'm gonna say no. I do not. I do not believe he is gonna do that. Super Sab says crazy how obsessed we are with men's beard. You're completely wrong on that. It's a fun thing because it's a Yankee. Yankees don't do
Exactly.
this.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is the only reason why people are even talking about this. If this was like a policy that was never around, who nobody's talking about this with any other club. It's the Yankees. This has never really been done in the majority of our lifetimes. So it's different. Max Fried already has a little mustache, so I think he's fair game.
Yeah.
Yeah, not worried about Max Fried. Louis Hill, think he grows a little something there.
Yeah, because you were talking about that on All Rise, I think, where he
Yeah,
has like the little chin strap thing. I think
yeah,
that's what. I mean, I think a lot of the other Dominican guys are going to do the same sort of thing.
I can see that. I can see a
Yeah.
little Louis with a little something. I like it. I like the idea of it. Carlos Rodon has already let the world know, yes, I am doing it. And I know Ashley Rodon is very happy because she was like, oh, here we go with this clean shave. She was like, I can never get used to him being clean shaven. So there's your answer. Carlos Rodon is going to be sporting a little something. I don't know if Schmitty can.
I wouldn't think so.
I don't think so.
I wouldn't think so. I don't know if it's whether he can or can't, but I wouldn't think. And I think part of it is because he's been in the organization for so long,
Yeah.
having come up as a prospect. I think it's going to be along the same lines where even if he could, I don't think he would.
Yeah. Agreed. Devin Williams, he's grown. He's already
Yeah, I
growing
mean,
back.
he's the whole reason the change happened.
Right. Austin Wells already has the 1970s mustache. I think that stays. I don't think he grows the full beard. He might,
Well,
because in the offseason, he does it.
and it's funny because Cashman was saying that he thinks Austin Wells is going to be the first one because he has to shave twice a day to maintain with policy.
That would be, honestly, I would be almost the same way. There's many times when I completely shave. I'm not even joking. I'll come on camera, like I'll shave the night before. I'll wake up, I'll come on camera for like All Rise or especially like a Game Season Live at night. I see myself like, whoa, that really grew. That's crazy. It's unbelievable how that works.
Meanwhile, I'm opposite of that.
Yeah. Oswaldo Cabrera.
I don't think so. I've never seen him. I've never seen him even in the off season.
Me either. Jazz.
Little one of those. I forget what they're called. Yeah.
Little, okay. All right.
I can see that.
Little chin. Matter of fact, the weirdest thing about this is, hasn't Stanton had the chin strap forever? Like even with the Yankees, or am I missing this? I feel like he's always had the little soul patch.
I can't think of it. No, I don't think so.
Well, if he hasn't, the soul patch is coming back because that was his
that was his thing in Miami.
And his thing in Miami.
Yeah.
So I think the soul patch is gonna come back for Big G. Goldie. This is an intriguing one. What do you think about, does he go full lumberjack and get a full beard?
Full lumberjack.
He said, I mean, the guy got the biggest forearms on planet Earth.
No, I know. I don't like him clean shaven.
I kind of want to see him go beard. If there's anybody on the team I want to see beard, I think it's going to be Goldie.
Yeah.
Interesting. I think it plays to his character, by the way, too. I really do. I think it plays like Goldie's character. I think he needs to go with the beard. Does DJ LeMahieu go full beard and bat .332 this year?
I need it to happen. That's all I'm going to say. I need it to happen.
That would be friggin' awesome. I can tell you that much. That would be unbelievable.
Anthony 30 home runs.
I think Volpe's probably the easiest one on the team. No way.
No way. No. He's like me, I think.
No way in hell. Cody Bellinger had a beard last year. You think he brings it back? Or he's going to say, you know what? My dad played on this team. I'm not going to do it.
That's kind of what I think. I think it's because he knows what it's like to be a Yankee from his dad. I think he's going to stay clean shaven.
This is the most intriguing one. Me and Francis talked about this one a lot. Does Jason Dominguez go to the Dominican beard that he usually has in the offseason? Yeah, I agree. I think Jason Dominguez is going to be bearded Dominguez, and I think he's going to be maybe.
I think he's going to be bearded tomorrow. Who you kidding?
Yeah. Dominguez is going to be bearded very quick, and I think he's going to be one of the. And here's an interesting thing that this is going to sound silly, but he's going to be like, I think, a potential like poster child for post bearded Yankees.
Yeah.
After this, Dominguez has a chance to be that guy with a big year, and if he's rocking the beard, then it's going to be a different look. Aaron Judge has already said, no, I will not do it. I will not do it. I've never really seen Judge with like a full beard. I think he had a goatee a little bit.
That's about as far as he goes, and he'll get a little of the stubble on the sides,
Yeah. Big G. I think the soul patch, man. I think it's coming back. Soul patch is coming back. His elbows are going to heal, and he's going to drop 35 bombs this year. That's wishful thinking, but we'll see what happens. But we can't stop right there, because what do you think about manager Aaron Boone? Booney Beard? Booney Beard.
He was talking, I think he said something to the media about that.
Yeah, I think he said he's not doing it.
Yeah,
that he wouldn't. If I remember well, I'm pretty sure
it was something like that. Yeah, I think he said he'd try just for giggles, but just so that the media can see him with the beard. It was something along those lines. But
if Boone grew a mustache, he'd become my favorite manager overnight. If Boone grew a mustache, he'd be one of my favorite managers ever. I don't know why. I just feel like the mustache brings out something in certain characters, and I don't know why I feel like it would do something for Boone.
That doesn't go well with the bubblegum, though.
It's gonna get stuck, and he can't.
That's what I'm saying.
Like that. Yeah,
I think that's why he stays clean shaven.
You're right. That would be an absolute mess. I don't think so. Troy with a question. This is a good one. You guys think the Yankees get a City Connect jersey now?
So kind of the way that Hal was talking yesterday, like I was saying before, Hal's a lot more open to things than he was.
Yeah.
And it seems like this is going to be a big year for the Yankees. So I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if they do get a City Connect.
I could see it. And
if nothing else, you'll have all the merch sales because, I mean,
of course, money's always going to play a nice little factor in a lot of these things. I mean, Look, Judge mentioned that he doesn't really want a lot of other things touched. I mean, where was Aaron with the star insurance
Yeah,
patch?
yeah,
I mean, to me, that was the worst of anything, because if you're talking about tradition, well, players are put in uniform. To me, the uniform is the thing that's prized more so
yeah,
than anything, not just the face of a player. Well, times change, the uniform hasn't. I mean, that's the big difference, in my opinion, is that times have changed, but the uniform really doesn't. And if you're going to allow marketing and things of that nature on the jersey of the New York Yankees, I don't understand what tradition you're looking to really hold on to, because a lot of people go so crazy about the beard thing. I'm like, I didn't see the same type of, anger and pushback when it came to putting a star insurance patch on a jersey. That was always my main beef. And I
yeah.
remember when it originally happened, I said, well, get rid of the beard, the facial hair policy, because let the guys just be who the guys are then at the end of the day.
And that's kind of what Hal was saying yesterday is kind of paraphrasing a little bit. When they had that star patch put on there, that kind of opened their mind a little bit to changing some rules because the Nike logo, I mean, it's the Nike logo. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not taking over the whole like the whole arm
Right.
almost.
Right.
That patch is with how big it is. They had to be really open to apply something like that to the jersey that, like you said, is so prized.
Right. And that's my only thing is I just think it was I think in it could have been a very easy decision even back then. Once that happened, could have changed it. And again, man, I don't know how much this helps the team, going forward. Hal obviously mentioned that it could affect free agents. A lot of people are bringing up that Vladdy's going to be available. He made a great play at first base. I tweeted the play out and I was like, hey, Yankees need a first baseman next year, just saying. So, uh, it probably is going to let players know out and about that things are easing up a little bit here. It's kind of not the old school Yankees. We've kind of stepped into the new generation now. You could come here and be yourself. You don't got to worry about having a razor blade on your neck all day. You know, and for a lot of us here, we probably hear it and go, yeah, but whatever. But these guys are playing the game day in and day out. And
Mhm.
again, this is, I think maybe, I don't think it was last year. I think it might have been the previous year. It might have been last year. When I had Eric Kratz on and Scott Braun, and we kind of debated the policy a bit. And Eric Kratz, I said, what do the guys think in the clubhouse? And he said flat out, they hated it. But he was like, I'd shave my legs if the Yankees told me I had to be a Yankee. And I understand that. And
Yeah.
I think a lot of players feel the same way, that if, like Judge said, if that's the rule and you want to be here, you just do it.
Yep,
And
I
that's all
agree
there
with
is to
that.
it. And I don't disagree with that one bit. I'm not fighting that argument of what it means to be a Yankee and wanting to be a Yankee. But times have definitely changed, and things are seen very, very differently now than it was in the 70s. So that's always been my one beef on that. I get where some people come from, and I get where my argument comes from.
Yeah.
And I am just happy that, like you said, Steinbrenner didn't just put out a statement. He sat there and answered questions. He was pretty open about it. He was even asked about, what would your father think today?
Yeah.
I think that was interesting.
Yeah. And all of the answers were really fascinating. I mean, even going into the financial part of it, which, I mean, you knew that was coming. You knew someone was going to ask about financials and players and stuff like that. But the way that he approached the entire thing, and in the media email, he wasn't supposed to be there. It was just supposed to be Cashman, from what I understand, something like
Right.
that. So I was really surprised to see him there. But at the same time, he should have been there because it's his team. Um,
Yeah.
but the openness, I appreciate the openness so much because of they've been so close to the chest for so many years. It's so hard to get anything out of the Yankees.
Agreed.
So
No doubt
this was
about it.
really fascinating to watch.
Yeah, and he did a great job. I mean, look, I always say it. I call the Yankees out when I have to call the Yankees out, but I also pat them on the back when I have to. And I think he did a great job yesterday. I said it many times. He didn't just simply kind of shy away from any questions. He answered it honestly. He said he talked to many people about it. He even basically kind of alluded to, I like the rule, but I'm not the one playing every day. I'm not the one going on the field. I'm not the one even growing a beard. I can't grow one. So it was kind of funny to hear that, because he's like, I don't even have the experience of what it's like shaving all the time, then sweating on a field afterwards. And I know for me, I've said this many times, if I played for the Yankees, I know for a fact my neck would be killing me, because I break out after I shave my neck, and then sweating on top of that is even worse. So I could understand why some people had a problem with it. I know a lot of people also think it's not a big deal. It definitely, I think, was when you're playing day in and day out. But we'll see if this affects free agent wise. We'll see if, anybody mentions that going forward, that, if the Yankees didn't change that policy, I wouldn't have signed here. Who knows? You don't know. Maybe we'll hear that with guys like Vladdy or somebody else. Who the hell knows? We'll see. But, yeah, man, I mean, unless you have any other updates, I'll get ready to wrap this baby on up.
No, I'm just excited to see what the spring brings. Give a couple players that we haven't really heard of a shot.
Yep.
There's a couple guys that I'm really interested in. Ismael Munguia is really intriguing.
Played
Nicaraguan
today.
outfielder.
Played outfield today, yeah.
Yeah, so we've been posting a lot of stuff through Golden Bases Llenas of him, and that stuff just goes nuts. So I'm really intrigued to see what his deal is with performance and that. So, but yeah, I'll be at the game tomorrow. So if you're in Tampa, find me, say hi. Look for the tan hat. That's kind of my thing.
The bucket
hat.
Look for the bucket hat. Look for the bucket hat.
Yeah, you can't.
I'm gonna tell John when I arrive in Tampa, and I'm gonna say, John, just throw it high in the air, and I'm gonna see it. I know exactly where you are. It's like a flare. His bucket hat is like a flare. Just fling it in the air. Everybody's gonna know where you are. But I am really excited too. I'll be in Tampa in a few weeks. Me, Kevin, Francis, Jira, we're all gonna be there. We're planning on getting a lot of content for you guys, as always, as much as possible. Be live every single day, as you guys know. And I get to see this great guy. I'm really excited about that. John, by the way, John said he doesn't like hugs, but for me, he's making an exception. So I
won't make an exception.
That's how it goes, folks. All right. That is how it goes.
Yeah.
John, we're going to have you back on. I know, look, it's always good to have somebody with insight that's there day in and day out. So we're definitely going to have you back on. Do you guys love John Brophy or what? Let me know in the comments right now. Do you want John Brophy's coming back? Is he not coming back, folks? Let me know. And look, John, if they go another way, I don't know what to tell you. Jira says she loves Brophy. I tell you, John, she loves you, man. Jira loves you, man. Frank Quote says
we've been
let's
talking
go
cameras
for
a lot.
Vladdy. I know, trust me. She's driving me nuts with the camera.
Yeah.
John wants to. Yeah, I know. We're gonna upgrade the cameras and everything. I know that, because that is actually, it's funny. That's actually one of her goals, is to take pictures. Like, she loves doing that. So that's something she really enjoys doing. So I get it. And everybody in the chat is saying, "Yep, need John Brophy back." That's it. We need John Brophy back. So that seals the deal. He will, no doubt about it, be back. So, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you guys hanging out with us today on this. The hell is today? Saturday? This Saturday night?
Sure, I'll go with it.
I think, at this point, honestly, I've been in front of this computer all day today, making things. Game Season Live tomorrow, 1 o'clock. Game Season Live is going to be on tomorrow, so I'll be calling that one live. And then Designated Smittis. So a busy day here at the U. Tune in tomorrow at 1 o'clock, everybody. It's going to be very, very fun. John, say your final words to everybody. See you later. Yes, William Henry. Designated Smittis tomorrow.
I don't have any final words. It's just
he has no final words.
I'm just so tired.
He's exhausted. John's going to get some rest. Peace out, guys. Have a great rest of your night. Talk to you soon.
We got it next. That's how you finesse. We come for they next. We come to collect. Did it all on my own, yeah. When it brought it back home, yeah. Now they calling my phone, yeah. But I'm all in my zone. They not a threat. Tell them reset. When they're at their best, we still not impressed. Did it all on my own, yeah. When it brought it back home, yeah. Bought a watch with the stones, yeah. Caught them watching my throne, yeah. Ain't no one doing the shit that we doing. Ain't nobody moving the way that we moving.